Hari Om. So in this 7th chapter, Bhagwan reveals his own nature. Who is Ishvara is very clearly understood when we study this chapter. There's a lot of confusion in the world about God. Where is God? How is God? So when we study this, we understand what is the meaning of God or Ishvara. So all that we see is Ishvara alone. All that is been seen. Ishavasya sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagata. The whole world should be seen as pervaded by God. Yat kincha. Every little atom, every little molecule, everything is pervaded by Ishvara. So Ishvara has got his two prakritis, the apara and para, and together he expresses as this world through this prakriti. So all beings, all our various lokas, various objects, the entire cosmos with all the different types of jivas, different types of experiences, different types of emotions and thoughts, everything is expression of that divinity alone. Nothing other than God exists. Just as in an ocean, nothing other than water exists. But still, when we talk about the ocean, we talk about it as ocean and as waves. So when we talk about it as wave, we mean a small little form. And when we talk about ocean, we consider the entire large form with all the waves. But essentially, it is water alone which expresses. Similarly, God alone expresses as apara and para prakriti. So apara is the eightfold, the five elements, the ahankar, the cosmic ahankar, the cosmic intelligence, which we see expressed in everything. And that is what science also studies. When we try to find out some laws behind the various things which we see, we get a glimpse of the intelligence of God. We come to know as if the mind of God. So that is cosmic intelligence. Even beyond that is the unmanifest prakriti. And this eightfold prakriti alone then, combination, permutation, becomes the manifold world with all the beings. So which modifies into the various sense organs and the various objects, and everything is just an expression of this eightfold prakriti. And the para prakriti is that consciousness which expresses as life, because of which one is conscious, one is aware. And that awareness is something different from matter, because one is aware of matter also. One is aware of all these five elements. One is aware of one's mind, one's intellect, the senses. So this one is aware of the waking, dream, deep sleep state. So this awareness is different from that matter. So this awareness is what we call the para prakriti. And this para and apara prakriti together forms Bhagwan's prakriti. And Bhagwan is beyond this prakriti also. He is that supreme Brahma, nameless, formless. So Bhagwan says, I am the very origin, the sustenance, and the dissolution of this whole world. There is no one different from me, other than me, lesser than me. I alone am there. The whole world is like pervaded by me, like the thread which pervades the mala. So he goes on to give his vibhuti, which we can contemplate upon to experience God. So vibhutis are mentioned here. Vibhutis are special expressions of God. That way the entire cosmos is a special expression only. But within this cosmos, Bhagwan names few objects and few things as a special vibhuti, which can be contemplated upon for our easy understanding on experience of God. More about this vibhuti, Bhagwan in detail will mention in the 10th chapter. He mentions vibhuti here in 7th, he briefly mentions in 9th chapter also, but when Arjuna asks him in detail, he mentions in the 10th chapter. So vibhutis are special expressions of God. Like we say gold and gold ornaments. The ornaments are special expressions of gold. Different types of ornaments we see. They have their own specialities. Similarly, Bhagwan expresses as this world and how to recognize him in this world. He says, I am in the water as taste. In the sun and the moon, I am the light. In all the Vedas, I am the Om. In space, I am sound. And in all human being, I am that humanity or humaneness. Further, Bhagwan tells some more vibhutis, the 9th verse. Punyo gandha prithivyancha tejaschasmi vibhavaso जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु पुण्यो गन्धपृथिव्याञ्च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसो जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु. Bhagwan says, I am in this Prithvi, on earth or in all matter. Bhagwan says, I exist as Gandha. Gandha means fragrance. On earth also, or the fragrance which we experience is Bhagwan only. And what type of fragrance? Bhagwan says, Punyo, a very pure, very pavitra. Punya, very divine, pure fragrance which we experience on earth is Bhagwan's vibhuti only. Sometimes we experience foul smell also, but that happens because of the impurities which humans and others they put in that soil. Shankaracharya ji writes that because of the ignorance and not following dharma, human beings pollute the earth and pollute other expressions of God, because of which there is vikar. And in that vikar, we don't experience the vibhuti very clearly. Like in Ganga, if we pollute the Ganga, the purity is not observed. So punyo gandha prithivyancha, and in that same different types of gandha is there in Prithvi. And you can experience this when it comes out in the form of various types of flowers. There are so many different types of flowers are there. It comes from that Prithvi only. If you smell that earth, you might not get that fragrance. I mean, the natural fragrance will be there. But when it comes out in the form of various flowers, it's so very wonderful. So when we get that fragrance, also when we experience that first rain and that fragrance of this earth comes, it's like Bhagwan only entering our system through our nostrils. So that Gandha, Bhagwan says, is my vibhuti. The very essential nature of Prithvi, Tattva, is Gandha only. So without Gandha, Prithvi is no Prithvi. Prithvi Tattva is experienced only through our nose, and that is Bhagwan's Vibhuti. So even when we do puja and all, we offer the flowers, we apply the chandan and all, and then afterwards we take it as prasad and we smell it. It's like prasad from Bhagwan, experiencing Bhagwan in the form of that fragrance. So that is Bhagwan's Vibhuti. Arjuna was promised, Bhagwan had promised him that he will give him knowledge as well as experience. Now he is giving him the experience of his own self in and through this whole world. See, no temples and no special idols are necessary to experience God. I am not against temples and idols, but not required. This whole world is Bhagwan's Vibhuti only. And that's what our good old tradition also keeps telling us. When we say that we worship the mountains, we worship the rivers, we worship the sun, the moon, the earth, the different animals, cow, different types of plants. Later on, when people became little impure and disturbed, we had to create some more forms. Otherwise, the whole world is a temple. Yad yad karma karomi tat tad akhilam shambho tava aradhana. Whatever karma we do is Bhagwan's aradhana. Our walking on this earth with this attitude that the whole earth is Bhagwan's vibhuti is his pradakshina only. And whatever words we utter, good words we utter, is Bhagwan's stuti only. It need not be special stuti or special bhajan we have to sing, but if we speak nicely with other human beings or with animal birds, that is Bhagwan's stuti only. You don't have to do something special. Because of doing something special, we have forgotten God actually. Because when we have temples, our focus is that God is within that temple, and we forget that He is outside also. Therefore, some great Mahatmas came in our country and they just said that you worship the whole world as God. Don't waste your time in little murtis and all, but focus your attention on God who is expressing as this whole world. So keeping this in mind, when we do our sadhana, it becomes more effective. We can have temples, we can go do namaskar, but at the same time, when you come out of the temple, do namaskar to the world also. It's same thing. So punyo gandha prithivyancha tejaschasmi vibhavaso. Bhagwan says, I am the tej in fire. Vibhavaso is fire. In fire, that brilliance and that tej which is there in fire. Fire is the most miraculous thing actually. First time when human being might have seen that fire and all, it was like a great surprise. Even for a child and all, fire has got its own attraction. Though one should not play with fire, like in Diwali and all we do, but fire has got its own charm and beauty. See, Bhagwan created this world first as Akash, then Vayu. Akash we cannot see, Vayu we cannot see, then fire. Fire is the first thing which we see. So the first darshan of Bhagwan we get through fire. Therefore, there are many religions who worship fire as God, which is most beautiful, most natural. No special form is required. Fire is the first expression of God which we can see. Then Bhagwan expresses water which we can taste, and then earth we can smell. But fire we can see. If you have to have darshan of Bhagwan, we look at fire. Therefore, our ritual, everything begins by lighting a lamp, invoking God as that fire in whose presence everything we do. So, tejas chasmi vibhava. So, I am the teja in fire. So, next time we look at fire, we should remember this, that Bhagwan alone is expressing through that fire. See, there are different ways of looking at the same object. Object remaining same, 10 different people will look at it in 10 different ways. Like, for example, a flower, a rose. Everyone will look at it differently. A poet will look at it differently. An artist will look at it differently. He will see some colors, more form. A sad person will look at it differently. A happy person will look at it differently. So, flower remaining same is seen differently by different people. A botanist and all will look at it differently. He will look at it as petals and I don't know what else. Corolla and all. I don't know whether it is there in rose. So all this, they will look at it differently. But here Bhagwan says, you look at it as God. You look at it as divinity. It is just you have to change your vision. That will not spoil your scientific knowledge. That will not spoil your practical application of it and all. If I look at everything as God, I might not be able to function in this world. Nothing like that. We have to change our vision. Later on, Bhagwan will say that a Mahatma is one who sees God in everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma. He is called a Mahatma whose vision has changed. The world remaining same is seen and experienced as divine, as God. World is God only, but our vision has to change. So, Punyo Tejas Chasmi Vibhava. So I am that Teja in fire. Again, Bhagwan comes more close. He says, I am there in you only. In fact, in our own body there is water. Bhagwan is there in our body as water, as the taste. As fire also, the heat is there in us. But Bhagwan comes still closer. And he says, I am the Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu. If you want to know God, you know Him as Jivan, as life. Bhagwan says, I am life in all beings. Even a tiny little ant, some matter, that matter is Bhagwan's apara prakriti, but that life which is there is Bhagwan's para prakriti. Bhagwan alone is expressing in that tiny little ant as life, as moving around. It has got its own charm and its own beauty. It's most miraculous. We can predict what will happen to matter by understanding the laws of nature, but the laws of life functions in a different way. To understand laws of life, we have to study the scriptures. To understand laws of chemistry, you study chemistry, chemicals. To understand laws of matter and energy, physics can help us. But to understand the laws of life, we have to study the scriptures. Last time also I had given an example. If you take a stone, throw it up, it will come down, according to the laws of physics. But a live bird, if you throw it up, where it will go, nobody can tell. Because it follows laws of life. If I jump from the first floor, where I will fall and all can be understood laws of physics. But whether I will jump or not will be understood by studying the laws of life. How my mind functions, how my emotions functions, whether what actions gives what type of result will be understood by studying laws of life. Every action has got its own reaction. So if I perform action with love, with anger, with jealousy, what type of reaction will happen will be understood when I understand laws of life, which is called dharma. So Bhagavan says, I am that Jivan in all beings. Jivanam sarva bhuteshu. So even we don't have to go here and there also. Just close your eyes and feel that life pulsating within you. Feel the entire body alive. Every cell is alive. Everything is alive in our body. That life, because of which the body functions, is God alone. For some time, if God leaves this body as life, the body falls down. It cannot survive, it cannot move, it cannot do anything. So that life, Jivanam, Sarva Bhuteshu, Bhagavan says, I am that life in all beings, even in a tiny little bacteria, I am there as life. And Bhagavan as life doesn't die. The body may fall down dead. The body may undergo change, but that life doesn't die. That life expresses in some other form. So, Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu, Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu. Bhagavan says, in the tapasvis, those who perform tapas in order to realize God, those who do various types of sadhanas, sharirik tapas, physical, vachik tapas at the level of speech, mansik tapas at the level of mind. Tapas means they conserving our physical and emotional and all energy and power and directing it towards a specific goal. A seeker, a spiritual seeker does tapas to attain that goal of enlightenment. But others also, when a businessman is working hard towards gaining something, what he is doing is tapas only. Sometimes they have to go without food, without sleep, so much of hardship. It's also tapas, conserving that energy towards one particular goal, not wasting it in any other direction. But here Bhagavan is talking about those tapasvis who strive to attain that state of enlightenment. Bhagavan says, I am the tapas in them. That strength, that energy, or that power which one gains through tapas, Bhagavan says, that I am in all of them. So when we are doing tapas, we should know that we are invoking that God in the form of tapa in us. Even when we observe mauna, or we do some fasting, or we take a vow of what you call doing some japa or some puja regularly, whatever be our form of tapas, the result which comes, or the essence of that tapa, is Bhagavan only. When we do it, we experience God as tapas in us. So tapaschasmi tapasvishu. This is very important because many times the tapasvis, not knowing this, may develop that ahankar, may develop pride that whatever power I have gained, that is my own. Bhagavan says, no, I am there in you. You are invoking me only through your tapas. Further, he says, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam Vidhi partha sanatanam Buddhir buddhimatam asmi Tejas tejasvinamaham Bijam mam sarva bhutanam Vidhi partha sanatanam Tejas tejasvinamaham. Bhagavan says, I am the bijam. Bij means the seed. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi Partha Sanatanam. Hey Partha, O Arjuna, understand, Vidhi, understand that I am the seed or the origin of all beings. I am the cause, or I am that very seed of all beings. See, in the world we have seed which get destroyed to become a tree or a plant. But here Bhagavan says, I am Sanatanam Bijam. I am eternal seed of all beings. I am the eternal origin of all beings. There are various types of beings. And so many beings keep on coming, they get extinct, a new type of beings are born, different types of. Actually, life is so very dynamic that it keeps on modifying and reforming itself, mutating and becoming different every moment. We are also constantly, as humanity also, we are constantly changing, modifying. Maybe after a few years, a different type of human being will be born. After many years, I don't know what will happen. Just as they say that we have evolved from monkeys, in future I don't know what will happen. So different types of beings are there in this world. So not only on earth, on earth there are multiple varieties of being, but the scriptures talk about other worlds also. Now science has not discovered life on other planets and all, but in future they might. So other beings also, Bhagavan says, I am that bij in them. So even if you study a seed on earth, it's the most marvelous thing actually, the most miraculous thing. And that is just one seed of one tree. So when you look at the seed, let us say a papaya seed or an apple seed, if you look at seed, the seed doesn't have any, just by looking at it, you will not know what will be the outcome of that seed. If you don't recognize that seed, you don't know. But that seed contains the entire information about that apple. That seed doesn't have the material, but it has got that intelligence. Material it takes from the earth. It converts the ordinary soil into trunk, into various branches, into leaves, into flowers, into fruit. It's the most miraculous thing. God is showing His miracle every moment. We should be able to look. We should be able to see it. We only have some notion of miracles of different type. But every moment, Bhagavan is showing miracle to us. So he says, I am the bij, I am the very seed of all beings. So as this apara prakriti, Bhagavan is the very source of the entire creation. He is source of all the different types of life forms, not only on earth but other lokas also. Therefore, he is the seed